So today I'm going to be sizing this diamond and 14 karat yellow gold ring up about a half of a size, and I'm going to be fusing it without solder. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your ring is very clean and doesn't have any, like dirt and grime down in the holes and everything. I already started cutting it open, so I'll go ahead and finish doing that. Now this ring is only going up about a half of a size, but one thing you want to keep in mind when you're sizing a ring up is when you open it, your sideways angles are going to look something along the lines of that. Now that right there might be a little exaggerated for my ring because, like I said, I'm only going up about a half of a size, but you're going to want to account for that by filing the bottom half to where the angles become, more parallel with each other. And, if you were going down on a ring, you would want to keep in mind, being smaller at the bottom, it would be larger at the bottom. If you're going down, if you're trying to bring it in, so you'd want to cut that out and make it more parallel. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of account for that angle at the bottom. Something also to keep in mind, this 90-degree angle here and this 90-degree angle here, along with this one and this one, you're going to want to really make sure that those are 90 degrees. Those are very important, that those are nice and straight and even. So this is the piece that I'm going to add here. I just cut off 2 little pieces of the top sides there. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hammer those out and then roll them to flat little strips. And these are going to be my, little pieces of quote-unquote solder that I'm going to use, even though it's a piece of the actual gold stock itself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay my big piece right in the center, right next to it. So here I've got everything lined up. Back to my little drawings here is without the 2 little slices of gold that are in there, you're going to want to make it as if it's angled down slightly like that. And so the reason is because you're adding the 2 extra little slices on top of the piece that you're putting in, which will open it up slightly, and it'll make the angle slightly larger. So you kind of want to account for the extra pieces that you're putting in. Make sure that you're using a lot of flux and boric acid. And I'm just going to kind of, droop this stuff on here real quick. This right here is just soldering flux. Now you'll notice what I kind of did is I was heating up the center part here, And you want to kind of avoid putting your flame directly on the thin plates that you have. And the reason is because that is going to melt much faster than the big chunks of gold that are here and here. And really, you're kind of heating up the center piece, and then the heat touching that is going to touch the plates, and then it's also, you kind of want to heat up this as you go. And it'll all kind of fuse together, and that looked like it fused pretty well. Maybe it was, 20 or 30 seconds. You don't want to use a super, super hot flame or anything, but you can see that all kind of fused together very nicely. And like I said, you're going to want to use a lot of flux and a lot of boric acid. So I'll go ahead and clean it up a little bit. This right here is pickling solution. It's going to clean off the boric acid that's caked on there. Check your joint and make sure that, everything fused together very nicely. And if you look really closely, you can see where all of the gold fused perfectly. If you had to go back and melt something again, of course you can do that. You want to avoid using a super, super hot flame and doing it very, very quickly, because then you'd have to, you might melt the shank, and you have to add a piece where you melted the shank. But for the most part, this right here looks like a really nice fuse. And so really the point of doing this is that there's no solder, which means that there's no solder joint. And the ring is going to be incredibly strong right here. It would be as if it was manufactured this way. Like as if it was manufactured this size. There's going to be no joint whatsoever when I'm done grinding all this away. It's got kind of a sanded finish right now, but you can see there's no joints or pits or anything right there. I'll go ahead and finish cleaning it up. Alright, so I've got everything sanded down, and I'm going to go ahead and polish it. That would be fuse sizing a ring, or sizing a ring without solder.